What's up, guys? So I wanted to come on here and give a quick explanation of, what kind of happened the past couple of days, where we went off, what we did wrong, etc. And give a super basic TA about, where we stand with the price, etc. And even if it doesn't play out, because yes, the stock is very hard to do TA on, as a bunch of you pointed out, but it still gives you a more general idea of what we could be looking at. And even if it doesn't play out, I'm still sure that there's things you guys can learn from it as well. And so just before I jump into this, I want to say one more time, I've written a few summaries about it, but I didn't say it enough and I didn't stress enough in the videos. None of the DD, none of it, not Dooms, not OPEX, not basically anything, is mine. I simply was fortunate enough to have enough time this year to really go through the entire super stonk library of DD that was put out by, the brilliant minds of our community. And I put a lot of work and time into reading all of it. I used a lot of Wikipedia whenever I didn't understand anything and reached out to authors to help clarify as well. And so I'd just like to give recognition and thanks to the people that spend so much time working on the DD. Whether theories pan out or not, it always helps us move forward in the right direction. And so the DD authors themselves deserve to be appreciated, and especially with all the hard work they put in. So that being said, giving credit where credit is due, thank you to all the people that put in the time and effort to discover the deep about the money puts, what they were being used for, more theories about the price movement. It doesn't go unappreciated. So let's jump into this. Ever since back, let's see, October 16th, so this was the first big pile of suspicious deep out the money puts that didn't really make sense, and so were likely used as part of a different hedging instrument. And even way back from here, if we count 2 trading days to October 20th and then go out 35 calendar days from there, that's when we had this little run up. And so even way back before the January sneeze, we had 28 trading days, 26 trading days for this one, 27 trading days for this one, 27 trading days for this one, 26 trading days, 26 trading days, and each one, was followed by a pretty nice spike. And so I was definitely led to believe that not much would change for this cycle, and so, March 1st or the morning of March 2nd, we were bound to see these same spikes that had been happening. There's a lot of theories as to what's going on. As of now, I'm completely wrong. I should not have been giving out specific dates, no matter how confident I was. I realize now that it's not something super wise to do with this stock, and I'll be very careful about doing that in the future. You can even see here how even January 15th, even if it's not quarterly, so even if it's not quarterly options expiration, but even sometimes weekly options expiration, when there's a lot of deep at the money puts that expire, January 22nd, C35 plus T3 led to this March 4th movement, and January 29th expiry, C35 plus T2 led to the March 10th movement. This cycle actually had January 21st and January 28th, and so, I was certainly wrong about March 1st and March 2nd. I'll take full blame for that, but I'm not going to count out the possibility that we might see this run up like we have all other times from these deep out the money puts. At this point, I truly don't know when they will be. And not just that, but we also have the January 28th exposure. All right, so that was the deep out the money puts. Let's move on to just some little basic TA. So at this point, it's really obvious that this 126 level is really going to be a sticking point to get out of, and I just want to show you guys. So let's look at the volume, right? So let's bring it down to the 5-day. So what's important to understand when you're trying to track this is when we move up to these ranges, right? So this important resistance to breakthrough. when you move up to these resistances, what you want to do is you want to track volume. And so you can see as we're moving up here, look at the volume. The volume just drops off. So price moving upwards, volume drops off. And so that's usually a telltale sign. Remember, volume precedes price action. So the price action is a result of volume. And so when the price is moving up and volume's trailing down, especially a steep drop off like that, most of the time price action won't follow upwards. And when reaching critical resistance points, you always want increasing volume and not decreasing volume. So let's look at the next time we came up to touch it on February 28th, and you could see on this big strong move up, nice amount of volume. Now as we get closer and closer to resistance, volume completely disappears. And so that again was a telltale sign that we were most likely not going to push through. And then even if we come back to this, so strong volume on this original push up, and then volume completely drops off again. Again, one more push with strong volume before it completely drops off. And so at the next time when we test 126, what we want to see, if we're going to break over, is increasing volume as we move up to that level. So we would want nice big volume spike end of the day. Okay, didn't even notice that. So here you could look at it this way too. So we come up with major volume, and then volume dies down at this critical level. Over here again, volume's dying down, and over here again, volume's dying down. Now, if we go like this, so if you invert this, and we're coming up to test this level, and volume is going this way, that would be a really good sign that we're going to break over. And so right now, this 126 level, once that breaks, it really looks like there's going to be a lot more to run. I mean, you can see where this started. We've tapped it 4 times as of now. Looks like we're going to get another chance to come up and test it again. And so if we can make this move up with sustained volume, we're most likely going to break. And so where do we go from there after 126? So let's look at support resistance lines. So you guys can see 126 is a really sticking point, and after that there's a nice amount of room to run. So let me show you what that looks like. Oh, and one more time, using basic fibs, break of 126 should be a lot more room to run. And you can see we held this 0.50 the entire time. Since the move up from 104, we haven't dropped below the 0.50, so that's a really good, that's a really bullish sign as well, that we have a very good chance of coming up and breaking through here. One more, the CME trend line. On the 3-month, bullish. On the 6-month, green. And you guys could see most of the time when we turn green, it's very usual to be followed by another big move up. On the 1 year, pushing, not there yet, but any move up right now should take us over. And I've showed you guys this a while back, but just to remember, you know, once we could get over the EMA 30, 34, which is a really important level, in the past it's led to sustained price movements up. And so any moment now, if we can break over that 126, to further my thesis, there's most likely a lot of room to run. So Bollinger Bands, we're making really solid support on the middle level, and so if this support continues, it's even if no matter regardless, this right here, you know, 4 days not breaking below the middle Bollinger Band is a really good sign of another push up. So the setup really does look good. Let's take a look at the VP volume profile. We're right here. So that's the 5-minute. Let's move out a bit to the 30-minute. So the volume profile just shows you where, you know, a lot of the orders are, volume per price. And so once you can break out of this red line, so this red line is where the most orders are. Very frequent to happen is once you can break out of the line, you're followed by it's kind of like, it's not a squeeze, but it's a similar term to a squeeze. So you can see, like, anytime we break out of this line, it's it's followed by, you know, usually followed by a lot more price movement. Here it was weak, but there was also extremely little volume. Keep that in mind. And so if we could sustain this level and push above here, we're probably going to get another chance to test that 126. So now here is the levels that I have for GME. Super easy to understand. It's basically like I've kind of boxed it in, but you can see that we've been trading in this level for a long amount of days, and again over here. So this is between 145 to just about 210, and we do break above it sometimes, but these moves are never sustained, and we come back in. So this trading range actually lasted 212 days. So we have a 212-day period where we average between 148 and 144 and 200. Now here was the big drop down, which left a retest level at just about the 146. And so right now we're making really solid support here. We've been doing it for about 3 weeks now. This was the day the market came down really hard, and we snapped right back above it, which is a very bullish sign. So I do know that there are people calling for 97, 109, levels like that. Based on the support that we're making, 117 has proven to be a really strong support thus far. I mean, since February 9th, look at this. You know, we bounced here. And I'll also draw this out for you guys. So right, so we broke out of this trend line, big move up, 132, and then right here we broke out of this trend line and we had a nice push up, and today again we broke out of this trend line and we're in the push up right now. So again, really any sort of volume right now that comes in at this point has a very good chance of taking us over this 126 level. Now let me bring out the levels that I believe will come after 126. Okay, so super basic fibs. We've been stuck between this 0.38 and the 0.50 for just about literally 2 weeks. And so again, this is really establishing a strong trend of support, and it doesn't look like to me that this can be pushed much lower. Guys, remember there was extremely low volume today and we still managed to close green, which usually happens before a lot of run-ups when the volume drops really low. You could see the trend in volume, you know, since January 7th. Yes, there is volume breakouts. So if you draw the resistance, we are really close at a volume breakout. Volume breakouts are a thing, if you didn't know that. And so when the volume keeps shrinking and we're having extremely low volume, you see how low volume these 2 days were, and yet the price is still green. It's a really good sign that they're losing control. And so we come out of the 123, we have a good test at the 132 level again, and from there we can really pick up momentum, we can really pick up speed. Next levels to watch after that would be this 144, and after 144 is 160. But if I bring this chart back again, so I believe, and this is the way stocks trend to work that have been stuck in ranges for 212 trading days, once we could break above this 148 level, I know gamma maximum is around 150, and so there are people that believe that we won't be able to sustain a move under 150. I don't really buy that. I think that if we can break over this 148 level, then we're going to have a really good chance at testing this upper line right here at 204. And so that's what I'm looking for next. You know, come out of the next steps for me would be to finally break out of this 126 level that has been, you know, acting as resistance for far too long now. Right, so we've been touching it since February 24th. 1, 2, 3, and none of these were high volume pushes. So it's gonna give at some point, and the support at 117 has also held 1, 2, even when it dropped down here, it shot right back up to get over that support. Held here, 117 held here, 117 held here, or really 116.50, I guess. 117 held here, and so the support line has really been established really well. No, it's not likely that after a stock creates this kind of support that it's just gonna shoot down. You know, even on this day, this was a market gap down from 420. From the SPY went from 422 to 412 under overnight, and look at the snapback. So this snapback is a really good sign that price wants to stay over 117 right now. This is, again, this is 22 days. That's a really, almost a month is a really good trend for support. And so it really looks like to me that any small volume push, any volume over 1.5 million or 2 million can really get us over this 126 level. And from there, the next level I'm looking out for is a break of 144. After 144, we'll be re-entered back into this box, and from here I think we should have a really good chance at least testing the upper line. Don't know if any of this move will sustain, but I'll check back in when that happens.